Adam Cole and his faction made their presence felt on AEW Dynamite, introducing themselves as none other than the Undisputed Kingdom, and obviously giving us the reasons as to why they have made their decisions against MJF. We're going to get into that shortly and everything else that happened on Dynamite, the major talking points. What's up, people? My name's Mekz, the WrestleManiac, if you will, reporting here for Revolution Radio alongside my co-host, NK.
Yo, people, it's your boy NK, aka Man Out, Too Sweet to Be Sour. Happy Wrestle Kingdom Day.
Yes.
Yeah, happy Wrestle Kingdom Day. But yeah, man, we're not here for Wrestle Kingdom, we're here for Dynamite, man. We're here for Dynamite. First Dynamite of the year, man.
It felt like a proper new beginning. Like it felt a bit like 2020-ish as well.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was a solid show, and just everything we got on it. We're going to touch on the main things today, but everything we got on it just felt like this is the direction we're going in. Let's all go, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It felt like you said, very 2020. It's very structured. Like even down, like it felt like a reset, and obviously it remains to be seen in the following weeks whether they keep up this momentum and this is a consistent thing or this was just a one-off. But it felt like everything was very meticulously planned, and yeah, man, this Dynamite, it felt like Dynamite of old. I know a lot of people, even me online, I tweeted, I'm starting to get the feeling, but then I didn't finish the sentence because I was like, you know what, it's just one episode, relax. But great start to the year. Great start to the year.
Yeah, we had like the typical really good action that we get in the ring week to week. Even on a bad day of Dynamite, you get typically very good action. We got, you know, a debut, I guess, or proper unveiling of this faction. We got returns, we got debuts. So yeah, it really felt like the kind of, you know, Raw after Mania-esque kind of episode. Restart, stuff is happening, new direction for everything. And we'll start with the main angle, the angle that closed off the pay-per-view over the weekend, World's End, with Adam Cole revealing himself to be the devil, revealing Mike Bennett, Matt Taven as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, part of the Henchmen. Wardlow's in there too. Roderick Strong was in there too. The show started off with Adam Cole's regular music, hella pyro, like absolutely crazy on the pyro. And then everything just went dead for a second. And then it morphed into like the devil entrance mixed with like Adam Cole's previous theme song and stuff like that. I thought the theme song was brilliant. I thought it was so good. I thought that just everything from their presentation. Even I think they came out, all four of them came out, stood to the side. Adam Cole walked through the middle of them. Just the whole framing of it was brilliant. Because we often, you know, have stuff to say about production value when it comes to AEW and stuff like that. Like this, they nailed it. They come down to the ring. Even in this new amalgamated version of his music, they found a spot to do the boom, and all the lights went off in tandem and just highlighted like a yellow ring around Adam Cole. Yeah, the presentation of it all was brilliant. He's taken the steel chair. He sat down again in the middle of all these men. And Roderick Strong takes to the mic first. He's still doing the Adam thing, which I do kind of wish like he maybe almost went to do it. The crowd does it. And then he just says, you know, regular Adam. Like, and then passes the mic and kind of baits them into it. Maybe there's still time to do that, but then Adam Cole went on to basically, you know, give the reasons as to, well, MJF is a scumbag. MJF was going to, you know, basically do me first if I didn't do him, sort of thing. And that now that, you know, it became bigger than the whole AEW World Title situation. These are people that he's double crossed and people that he's, you know, put through a hard time, and everyone just wants to pay him back and all of that kind of thing. He went on to say that obviously Mike Bennett, or the name of the group, Undisputed Kingdom, which had been kind of bandied around before, you know, given if these guys were going to be the people involved. So yeah, I thought that was a really good name as well. The Ring of Honor guys, they got the tag team titles already. Roderick Strong's gonna go for the international title, which is really good. And then they said Wardlow is gonna go for the world title, and when I'm fit and strong, he's gonna do the right thing and hand over the title. Wardlow got the like the zoom in, the camera was all on Wardlow. His face basically said, like, yeah, sure, mate. Like he didn't seem to buy that he's going to do that himself. So that could be a very interesting wrinkle where we go there with that. But followed by all of these like saying all their stuff, you hear Bullet Club Gold's music. Jay White comes out. Jay White's applauding them. Like, I thought this was brilliant. He was so happy that it was them. I'm happy to see MJF get done, blah, blah, blah. But he made a very good point that I don't like the fact that I had to be collateral. If you remember back, Jay White was the first victim of the devil and all of that kind of stuff. He came out with the guns and they took to the ring to take out Adam Cole and his men, his henchmen. Then the Acclaimed came out, who obviously the henchmen also took out previously. So it's like all of their ghosts are kind of coming to roost, if you like, which I thought was really good. Usually you would just see like a faction like this make their mission statement like they did today and go on like a tear, like, but it's like these men haven't forgotten, which was I thought was really good. So yeah, that's, I mean, it ended in a bit of a scramble and Adam Cole hiding behind the doctors because he's not cleared and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, from the presentation of the faction to, I guess, their mission statement and, you know, the sneaky word about Wardlow and what they intend for Wardlow and stuff. How did you find this opening segment?
Yeah, I thought just heel Adam Cole is the best Adam Cole. The thing is about Adam Cole, it's like he's so likable as a heel. Sometimes we're like, he's so good as a heel that we end up liking him, then we turn into a babyface. But heel Adam Cole is the best Adam Cole, and this faction just makes sense, man. Like just seeing all of them align together. And obviously, these are, aside from Wardlow, these are all guys that Adam Cole has previous history with. So it all makes sense. Regards to the Wardlow thing, when they were like, because I thought they were gonna say, yeah, Roderick Strong's international, Wardlow's TNT, and I am world heavyweight. So when they said Wardlow's going for the world heavyweight championship, I was like, I don't know exactly. I think eventually Wardlow's going to be the one to defect from the faction and maybe go on a babyface run. And then I'm just unsure about Wardlow in the group. I think Wardlow's motivation to destroy MJF makes perfect sense. Him like being in the group for that motivation is fine, but then going forward, when they start feuding with other people and start like, because I have no doubt that Roderick Strong's winning like the All Atlanta title at some point. Like I can't wait for it. I have no doubt that's fine. Even though the queue is getting bigger, Adam Cole is very much still a championship contender. And obviously, Mike Bennett and Taven, obviously Ring of Honor tag team champions. That's fine. That's cool. That's fine. It's Wardlow where it's like, I see him being the only one not to fulfill his end of the bargain in this faction. And maybe he defects from the faction before it gets to that. But he's the one I'm looking at where it's like, everyone has their role. I'm not sure about your role, particularly. Like, I'm not going to say it's a mismatch because he fits in. He's motivated. It makes sense that he's in there. But he's the one I'm the most concerned about.
Yeah. So when I was watching this happen in real time and they said that about Wardlow, I was just like, I was down because I was thinking like, bro, like he's just went through this, like, and our whole thing, even in building up to this devil stuff and him saying he wanted MJF, we're thinking like, if he loses to MJF, what does that do for this Wardlow that they've tried to kind of rehabilitate? To this point now, I've come up with two things that I think is very likely here. I think somewhere along the line, if say Roderick Strong does pick up that title and it's like, well, Adam Cole's still out of commission, so Wardlow, we're going to get you some way, somehow, a title match. I think if Wardlow loses the title match, which I assume he surely will, they kick him out. there and then. Like, you didn't do your part of the job, like you're out, sort of thing. I think, in the most kindest way of saying it, Wardlow is a placeholder for Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
So maybe if he fails and then, you know, it's like Kyle O'Reilly comes back and attacks Wardlow, and that's how they get him out of there and all of that kind of stuff. And then Kyle O'Reilly joins instead of Wardlow. I think something like that could happen. The same again, like this whole, I remember back in the day, I think it was the TNT title when MJF said to Wardlow, when you win that, it's mine, you give it to me, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, surely we can't be making a mockery of Wardlow's character to that extent. Like, then could have been a thing, right? Like, it's pretty much what we're seeing with Luchasaurus or Killswitch now with Christian.
Yeah.
But now he's actually been through that already. So now it can't be a thing where if he wins a title, he gets buoyed off and has to hand it over.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, like you're saying, like I'm saying, something's definitely going to happen. I don't know whether he defects or to make him a bigger star, to make him a big baby face, like you're saying, something mad happens to him, like Kyle O'Reilly returns, attacks him, gets him out the group, takes his place, and then we feel a bit more sympathetic towards Wardlow. He's lost a title match, maybe, then he's lost his place in the group, and then we go on from there.
The only thing, but if he was to defect, that'd naturally make him a babyface, and I think Wardlow as a heel is interesting. I'm not going to say it doesn't work as a babyface, because like the beginning part of the MJF feud, he was a babyface, and
yeah,
he was over. I think in this faction, it will be very. They've obviously set up other groups and they've set up like other people to feud with. I'm assuming whatever comes first, whether it's Acclaimed or Bullet Club Gold, I want Wardlow to be the guy that's in the matches. Because I feel like in these feuds, I feel like because the beauty of this faction that you can interchange a lot of people. Obviously, Bennett and Taven are the traditional tag team, but if you want to protect them because they're the tag team champions, you could like mix and match different teams. And I feel like portraying Wardlow as a monster, and in these matches, he'd be forced not to just do Powerbomb Symphony. He'd be forced to actually like wrestle, which Wardlow can absolutely wrestle. So I just think the end goal for Wardlow is a bit shaky, but the journey there, this could prove really beneficial. And I feel like this group's strong enough to stand on its own for now without Adam. But then when Adam comes back into the fold, and who knows? I think what they might do is time it in a way, because MJF is out of injury. They might like synchronize Adam Cole and MJF coming back at similar times. So like if Adam Cole comes back and like in at a certain time, MJF might come back a week, maybe at most a month later. Yeah. So you can just jump straight into that feud again, because obviously that feud's money. And them two, and I think Adam Cole will win whatever match they have.
Yeah, I was obviously we still don't really know how long Adam Cole's out for, the severity of the foot, of the ankle. And I was listening to Meltzer the other day, and he said that MJF's shoulder's pretty bad, that he may have to have surgery, which would keep him out for a long time, or he can do like a natural rehab, but he'll probably be advised to do surgery because he's still young, innit? Like, just get it fixed so it doesn't be a constant issue for him. So it'll be interesting to how they're going to manage this, but as long as they don't kind of hinge it too heavy on these two waiting to come back, and these other men can go off and do stuff, that would be good. But like I made a video earlier this week, like just Adam Cole in a faction leader. It just makes sense. Like it's just a perfect fit. He's done it so many times in his career. It never feels like repetitive. Like there's always a new dimension to it, even if these names are all similar or whatever. I was laughing my ass off this morning, bro, when I saw that even his crutches were all black now. It's not the traditional like silver crutches. I was like, well, nah, these men have gone to town proper. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what these lot do and rain chaos on the roster, and the Wardlow part of it is going to be very interesting as well. Again, just touch on another kind of big thing that happened on Dynamite. We saw following the international title defense. Orange Cassidy retained against Dante Martin, and really, really fun match. We saw, you know, the likes of Top Flight come out. We saw Best Friends come out, and they were going to get into fisticuffs. And then we saw Private Party. That's something we ain't seen, literally, like we've been saying since, you know, day one Dynamites. We ain't really seen these lot together. Mark Quinn has been consistently injured. They came back with the Private Party entrance. Mark Quinn was pumped on the mic, you know, reintroduced himself, reintroduced the tag team, because rightly so, like, a lot has happened since they were probably last seen together on TV. A lot of new fans, people wouldn't know them and stuff like that. Yeah, they got a really good reception. Mark got a whole, you know, welcome back chant and everything, and it was one of them ones where they just came, put the tag team division on notice. They mentioned everyone, including the Hardys. Didn't mention the champions, but they mentioned everyone else that they're ready to take on and climb up the ranks and all of that kind of stuff. So again, just that feeling of new start, clicking the reset button, where returning the focus to a tag team division. Yeah, it was good to see these guys back on the show.
Yeah, man. Private Party, like, they were like the team. Like, I'll never forget the episode where they beat the Young Bucks, like, on television.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like, who are these guys?
That was like the second episode of Dynamite or something, wasn't it?
And they were a team with a lot of potential, but it was always like injuries, stop, start stuff. And I think the Hardy stuff, for keeping it frank, did nothing for them. Aside from Isaiah Cassidy getting himself over, with a few instances here and there, it's good to see Private Party back. And it's like, it's funny because Top Flight are a team very similar, not even just in terms of in-ring style, but the trajectory of their career. It's kind of been like, in the same way Mark Quinn's been injured, Darius Martin has consistently been injured. And, well, I guess this time it was Dante that was injured, but before it was Darius. And again, a team put over by the Young Bucks. And I want to see the match. I know, like, they called out the entire division, but these two teams feuding would be very interesting.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they called out the entire division and were like, listen, we want to bring the division back. And there's enough teams there for something to happen. So I'm all for it, man. I'm a fan of Private Party. I'm happy that Mark Quinn's back. Yeah, just put these men on TV, just have them, you know, wrestle. My only concern with the tag team belts, though, is we haven't seen the belts much on Dynamite. They feel like very much collision titles.
Yeah.
And I want the belt to move around. Like, I want, like, Big Bill and Ricky Starks to be on Dynamite here and there, on Collision here and there. They appear on Dynamite, but they don't wrestle much on Dynamite.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, have these tag teams face each other, man. It's a good thing that they're back. You know, they add to the division. Listen, man, like, even I think Ray Phoenix is still injured, but once you add obviously veteran teams like the Lucha Bros back into the mix. Obviously, we got a match for Saturday, FTR versus House of Black, which looks like a great match.
Yeah,
you've got the teams there. AEW in the beginning, like, we speak about bringing back the feeling. One of the things that contributed to the feeling was the tag team division. There's a point in time where AEW's tag team division was just like, it was the best. Like, it wasn't, there was no debate. Like, it was the best tag team in wrestling, tag team division in wrestling, and we've gone away from that. And now we have enough teams to where it doesn't have to be the Bucks, doesn't have to be the FTRs. You've got enough teams there where try something new. It doesn't have to be just these two titular teams. You've got enough man them there to, like, create something special. So yeah, man, big up Private Party, man. I was gassed, man. Yeah,
it was good to see them, definitely. And even just going back to your point and the emphasis on tag team wrestling at the inception of AEW, the first tournament they done was a tag team tournament.
Yeah.
To, you know, crown champions, which what they called SoCal won, and what's that name?
SoCal Uncensored, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in the tradition, it's in the weeds. The EVPs are one of the greatest tag teams of all time. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
not neglect this facet of the company. I'll stop and say here, big up everyone that's watching live. We appreciate this. These are gonna go back as an audio podcast as well. So if you missed them on a Thursday, you'll be able to catch them on the audio later on in the evening. But yeah, if you're watching live or watching it back, hit the like button. If you're new to WRESTHINGS, make sure you subscribe. Put all your questions and stuff in the chat. We'll get to towards the end of the show. And we got some women's action on the show. Finally, the long-awaited debut of Double M, Mariah May. She was taking on Queen Aminata, who's been doing pretty well, getting more and more opportunities on Ring of Honor, on Collision and stuff like that. They had a really good match, I would say. A lot of people that I saw online weren't actually happy it was as competitive as it was. That would have preferred, I guess, something more akin to Mariah May squash to just help put her over and stuff. But I think this was good because it showed her ability to wrestle. They've been telling us every other chance that they get that she used to work in Stardom, so they've almost had to sell the fact that she can hang with what we know of what the Stardom ladies tend to do, that Joshi style, which I think she made a good account of herself. After the match, Renee Paquette took to the mic, was asking her, about her debut, and she said, that she wished that Toni Storm was watching and stuff like that. And in this segment, we saw the debut of Deonna Purrazzo, former Impact Knockouts champion. Big ovation because she's from New Jersey. The show was in New Jersey. Came down to the ring, and she was basically the advocate for New Jersey because Mariah May had previously said that the only issue about her debut is it had to happen here in New Jersey and stuff like that. Deonna Purrazzo straight away made reference to Toni Storm, that she's coming for Toni Storm. Mariah May or her lackey, go and send the message and tell her that I'm coming for her and stuff like that. She can't keep ducking me. Mariah May said, "Yourself, bitch, I'm no one's messenger." Slapped Deonna Purrazzo across the face. Deonna Purrazzo eventually got her out the ring. And yeah, stood tall. Deonna Purrazzo. So we were talking, and for those that listen to the regular weekly WRESTHINGS podcast, you're going to hear the extent of the conversation that we had about Mercedes Moné possibly joining AEW. But Deonna Purrazzo was someone we briefly mentioned as well, and ultimately she's made her debut before Moné has. So NK, what was your thoughts on this segment and Deonna Purrazzo joining AEW?
I think this was a home run. This was an absolute home run. On two accounts, I think Mariah May made a great account of herself. I loved how how stiff she was in the match. Like I love when they started hitting each other with the forearms and the slaps, you could really hear the connections of those two. So she's somebody that can really go in the ring. Obviously there's still elements of improvement. Obviously she's still new to the business, but you could definitely see her time in Japan has left an influence on her. And even big up Queen Aminata because she was right there. And I think we'll definitely see more of her. Both people made a good account of themselves, and I think doing that, you've already established Mariah May as okay. She's connected to the champion, and now she's made a good account of herself in this match. Cool, she's someone now that the audience know to look out for. And then debuting Deonna Purrazzo when the audience are already on the high from the match. And somebody made a good point on Twitter. How many times do we actually see women get to cut promos against each other in the ring in AEW?
Not enough.
Not enough. But so what you've done is that you've debuted Deonna Purrazzo, and then now you have two new characters on screen and immediately established a feud. And Deonna Purrazzo came out. She got because she was in New Jersey, and because she's like a notable name, she got the pop, she got the ovation. They treated it like a big deal. Oh, it's Deonna Purrazzo. And the fact that people obviously let's address the elephant in the room. People came into the show expecting somebody else. But the fact that the majority of people, including myself, left this segment satisfied with Diana, with with Mariah May and the direction that they're going in, shows that this was a flat out success. And we've always spoken about the women's division, and I'd be foolish to say, "Oh, I have complete faith and optimism." That's naive. But it does show me that if the cards are placed correctly, we are in for a very interesting women's division. And there's always been talent in the women's division. There's always been the Jamie Hayters, the Thunder Roses, but now it feels like, okay, now there's no excuse. Because you've got Jamie Hayter waiting to return, right? You've got Britt Baker seemingly in limbo. Thunder Roses returned. Riho's back in the fold. Chris Statland is here. You got Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida. Now you've added Mariah May and Diana Purrazzo, right? Confirmed. And then we've got one big, question mark in Mercedes Moné. But even with Moné to the side, with those names, we've got more than enough resources to build something with that division, something of substance. So like I said, the jury's still out. But in regards to this segment, I was very excited, and excited's not a word I use for the women's division, but I left this segment feeling like, yeah, and it wasn't just debut tax. That was a part of it, but it was also Mariah made a very good showing of herself as well. So yeah, I was very happy with this program overall, man.
Yeah, I feel it's good stuff. You've mentioned a lot of good points. I mean, me personally, I want this to work so bad. Like, I was never as a kid watching it. Obviously, women's wrestling as a kid was mud wrestling and pillow fights and stuff like that. Like, my love for women's wrestling came from NXT. And what you can do when you actually care, and you've got half decent people and stuff like that. Like, I want this to work so bad. I'm willing to like scratch out of my memory anything that happened last year with the women's division. Like, even the current stuff we're getting between Saraya and Harley Cameron. Like, there's clearly something. You don't like that.
I poo-poo that. I don't like that stuff, but it's really...
I'm finding it amusing because like something's clearly up. Saraya's clearly hiding something that Harley Cameron's planning to do or whatever in it. Like, but it just gives us another direction. We have our title, we have our champion, we have the TBS division, which seemed to fix themselves in the last 2-3 months of last year. We've now got, like you said, 2 new characters that are going to go off and have their own feud. We've got a returning Thunder Rosa. We've got a returning Serena Deeb soon. Yes. It's just, we're building like a multifaceted division. It's not just around one title and everything. So, like I said, until they do wrong, until they make a wrong step, hey, this is brand new to me, and I'm here for it. So, the slate's clean. It's a new year. Something else that's new on the show was obviously this new title, Eddie Kingston, the Continental Crown, I believe is going to be called, of the Triple Crown he's got. We saw a eliminator match between Trent Beretta, Brian Cage, Brian Keith, and do you remember who was the Vikingo, that's it. Just quickly on this, we saw Trent Beretta get the win. Now, for the people that were in this particular match, for who the winner is, respectfully, does that kind of give away the positioning of this title? Like,
I thought it should have been Brian Cage.
At the very least, isn't it?
At the very least, I think it should have been Brian Cage. We feared this after the Continental Classic, where it's going to be slotted into the mid card. This is TNT adjacent. This is international title adjacent. And I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give it benefit of the doubt, but the person post Trent is vital. Trent, first title defense, cool. You can chalk it up to, okay, first title defense, fine. I need. Okay, realistically, I'm not gonna expect a Hangman Page or so on and so forth. But I think so. I think Brian Cage would have at least presented an interesting challenge
Yes.
for Eddie Kingston. Trent is like safe, super safe. He's the person AEW send out. He's a person that eats pins. Okay, you want a good match, but someone's gonna eat a pin. Trent, that's it. Where we know, even if it was Brian Cage, yes, we know that Eddie Kingston's not winning, and Brian Cage hasn't been presented as someone like a top star, but it presents at least an interesting matchup just because of Brian Cage's size and his physicality. I'm not even though they unveiled 3 belts, I'm not a fan of the concept of defending the belt either. Because like I just won a tournament to get this belt. Why are you in a one-on-one match able to take away what I've just won? No, you must do it must be defend. I feel like it should be. I think the belt should just be like a prop at this point. Just hey, I've won the C2 Continental Classic. Cool. Here's the belt to show that I've won it. We go again next year. And then your title, like your title throughout the year, like a King of the Ring is, I'm the King of the Continental Classic. I'm the Continental Classic winner. You carry that moniker. I think you just carry the moniker. I don't think it should be an actual belt that's defending. Because what's the value in that? And I feel like it's the winner because it doesn't make sense logically. Because like I've gone through this entire tournament, and then someone can take the mantle off me just in a single one-on-one match without going through the same road that I went through. No, no.
The road, the journey definitely has to be similar. 100% agree with that. I feel like you're right. It can't necessarily be a Hangman or a Moxley. Obviously, Moxley was in Japan, but it can't be someone too high up. But I feel like Trent, bit low down. Vikingo maybe should have, because at least he's a champion.
That could have been interesting.
Yeah. Brian Keith, he's doing a lot of good work, but I don't. He hasn't got like a win yet, so it's like it couldn't have necessarily been him. Again, like you said, Brian Cage would have proposed an interesting challenge, but
maybe someone like a Penta or like someone of that ilk.
Yeah,
but that still feels all Atlantic-ish.
And but these guys, you know what this feels like with Trent winning and with the guys in this match. It basically looks to me that they basically tried to repackage the Ring of Honor Championship.
Yeah,
and with this whole Continental Classic stuff, but it's still Ring of Honor Championship level dons going after it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you said, the next person I would like to think should be a bit bigger in terms of name.
Just someone someone where if I see Eddie Kingston versus so and so on Dynamite, I'm like, oh, I'm tuning in.
Yeah,
I'm tuning in. If Sammy Guevara is not, I mean, I know the Jericho stuff seems at pause at the moment, or we haven't seen Jericho now. An opponent like Sammy Guevara of that ilk would be interesting.
Yeah,
that'd be better.
Yeah. Cool. One of the matches of the night on the show, we got Konosuke Takeshita going up against Darby Allin, and this was almost like a remember me guys sort of performance from Takeshita, where even what I enjoyed about this is like he was so dominant in this. He was so overpowering of Darby at times. Some of the feats of strength, the finish, the flipping German suplex off the top rope, and with these other great matches Takeshita's have with like Moxley and Hangman and Kenny, you can imagine it's maybe them man that are leading the match because of their experience and stuff like that. And Takeshita's just kind of being the humble guy in the ring, and he was a baby face them times as well. This was just straight out heel brutality violence. The rolling German suplexes down the ramp. This is the Takeshita that I thought we were getting from day dot the minute that he joined alongside Don Callis, and they put him in Don Callis family, and they somehow made him the least important person in there because you got Powerhouse Hobbs, and you've got a bloody TV champion in Kyle now, and you got obviously Will Ospreay by default sort of thing, and then you've got Sammy Guevara's story there from last week. Takeshita faded into the background, but this is what Takeshita does, and Western companies being Western companies, they went and put a Japanese man, their best Japanese talent on, the night before Wrestle Kingdom. Like, I'm sure that was done by design, but he's itching for the opportunity, and within this new character, the heel character, look what he's done. Like, he's made small food of Darby. What did you think of this match?
When this match got, I think I did like you. If you watch the podcast tomorrow, you'll see my visceral reaction to when this match got announced. I fist pumped. I was like, yeah, because these men had an amazing interaction. And the thing about Darby's bumping made Takeshita look like Takeshita was all like, his offense was crazy, but it's the combination of Takeshita and Darby. Darby, the way he sold, where he bounced around the ring, even the willingness to take some of these bumps. And I like the fact that Takeshita did it to Darby. Darby's somebody where no matter win or loss, Darby's somebody, he will always have credibility amongst the fans. Darby's somebody that he's a made name in AEW. He hasn't quite elevated to that world championship status, but he's an upper statesman when it comes to AEW. And this was a consistent, dominant performance. I mean, yeah, we had Don Callis interfere here and there, but ultimately it wasn't needed. Takeshita had this match under control from start to finish. And I tweeted, he looked like an absolute monster. And listen, if you don't have any title aspirations for him right now, it's fine. I get it. But more of this, please. And this was like I want to call it like a dynamic squash match, because it wasn't like, because squash matches like have this thing of, it was just one person, and it was, but like the match had ebbs and flows, back and forths. It was so entertaining but dominant, and I just want to see more of this from Takeshita. And there's a reason why when we first laid eyes on him on AEW and he had the matches with Hangman and Moxley and Danielson, we were like, this guy's a star. And this heel gimmick, him as a heel works. We just need to showcase him more. He should be the most important part of that faction by far. Like, it should be Takeshita is something special, man. I just hope that they nail it with him, because the one thing I'm concerned about is that they immediately did the tag team match. Then after the tag team match for next week with Darby and Sting, and I'm like, no, like respect. Like the Darby feud is cool. It's done, and Sting's not losing because he's on his retirement tour. Keep him away from these man. Like,
it might be Sting and Darby versus Hobbs and Kyle, innit? Like, if Takeshita just got a win, I wouldn't put him in that match just for Sting to come and pin him now or whatever.
Yeah, I hope that's the case then. I hope that's the case. Because I think Takeshita should just like scorch everything, but like just destroy roster up and down until he's ready to like assume a title.
Even the entrance, the mask. Like I said, I've never seen him do that before.
I can't like, he needs music. I don't like the silence. I think he needs music.
I've got used to it. I like that kind of ominous sound. Like, it's not music, it's just like a sound sort of thing. I hear you, but like I feel like I'm just used to it. And if they keep making him like a threat, like that sort of thing, then it could work. It could kind of resonate a bit more. But it's just like we're saying, how they really package him from here on out. Cool. Let's get on to I guess the main event angle stuff. People watching live, like I say, if you've got any questions, any hot takes, anything for us, put it in the chat, in the live chat. We're gonna get to it in just a second after this bit. So before the main event, we saw Hangman interrupt a segment between Daddy Magic and Renee Paquette. He basically just stormed in. He like just turned up to work then, and he was basically saying he wants to smoke. Adam Cole's been revealed as the devil. Them man attacked me, took me out. Anyone can get it, sort of thing. Give me a reason, push my buttons. Anyone can get it. This is the best of that, angry Hangman, just loose cannon, just ready to go off on somebody. And he stormed off into the background. Daddy Magic didn't even get his interview or anything in the end. They cut. The main event match was Danny Garcia versus Swerve Strickland. Again, this theme of new beginnings and all that kind of stuff. Both men cut promos during the night, saying that it's no surprise to them how the two young stars of the company are given this spotlight going into 2024 and all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, coming off the back of Swerve being somewhat successful in that Continental Classic, just unfortunately not progressing out the group, but he made it to the final, whereas Danny Garcia had a bad time, good showing, but a bad time until the last match where he got a win and then won on the pay-per-view over the weekend as well. Swerve won on the pay-per-view over the weekend as well. So we got to the match, big ovation for both guys coming through. Good stuff throughout this match. There was a good back and forth throughout. We had the little dancing spot of what's his face, Danny Garcia and Nana. I think they were like copying the Rock Hogan stuff, because there was one point where like they looked past each other and turned to the other side of the crowd and looked past each other, like Rock and Hogan did. NK's been pulled. Let me see if I can get this thing off my face. Yeah, so we had their match, and Swerve went up for the stomp. The stomp was the stomp didn't put away Danny Garcia, which was surprising. But then we saw Swerve hit his finisher, JML driver, which put away Danny Garcia. Really, really good match. And again, he's kind of put over the younger guys in the company, and almost showing the direction that the company's going in. There's clearly still a lot of momentum with Swerve. We're looking forward to how Swerve does for the rest of the year. And again, you'll see on the podcast that comes out tomorrow, we talked about the likes of Samoa Joe, that's now a champion, how long Samoa Joe should probably hold that title for before we get something like Swerve coming in and maybe becoming champion, maybe just before All In, and then we get like Swerve versus Ospreay at All In. I think that would be really good. NK, you're back with us?
Yes.
Cool. So the main event stuff. What was your thoughts on Swerve versus Danny Garcia?
Honestly, this match was really good. Like I said, like it just felt fresh. It's a main event that we haven't seen before. It was two guys we don't typically see in the main event, but I can't lie, this episode, I think Swerve's obviously been on the ascendancy, but I don't know if it was Excalibur and all of these men on commentary. They were like, he's a future world champion. It just felt like, Swerve, he's arrived. Like, he's here. Like, it's not just potential. It's like, no. Like, I'm almost like, I'm not a betting man, but I'm almost like, I could bet money Swerve's winning the championship this year.
Yeah.
Like I feel assured. Like, it's not just like, it doesn't feel like, oh, I hope he wins. I'm like, no, like, I feel like he's the one. And I think with AEW, what the good thing about them is that we always know who's next. And during the MJF title run, we were always asking ourselves, who's after MJF? Who's that person? And I think we're getting that question answered the same way, like with the Hangman feud. Well, the Hangman feud's more deliberate, but after the Hangman feud, we knew MJF's the next one. We could see it. They were just like they were distracting him. They were just putting stop gaps in front of him.
Yeah.
Until it was time. With Swerve, I think it's the same way. It's like we're stalling right now. Because he's the person in the company. He just feels like on the ascendancy, feels like momentum's here, going up, going up, going up, and going up. And then him and Hangman, I wasn't expecting them to revisit this early, but they've added an interesting wrinkle because both Hangman and Swerve mentioned Samoa Joe throughout the products. And then maybe I'm thinking maybe a triple threat match at Revolution. So we don't waste.
So Hangman, Joe, and Swerve. Yeah.
So maybe we don't because I think I don't want to see a third match just yet.
Yeah. That's the one thing I'd say about this segment. Like I just thought, you guys don't.
Yeah.
We don't. Not already. Like.
Well, at the same time, like these two together, the chemistry's like when these two are like it's magnetic, and it's like this is a rivalry that can go on for a long time. Like this is a rivalry, even though I'm saying wait now, this is a rivalry that provided both men stay in the company, I could see going on for a long time. All of your Cena, Ortons. It just a perpetual feud because I feel like these two will always find a way to make it interesting. And yeah, just seeing the show end with Swerve and Hangman facing off against each other, I'm like, this is what AEW's about.
Yeah.
This is what it's about. These are two men. Like Swerve, wasn't happy with his treatment in WWE, so he came to reform himself. Hangman is a star literally born from our eyes, from AEW. Yes, he was in Ring of Honor, but he became like a well-renowned star in AEW. This is what it's about. An alternative. Like this feels like something completely different to what I'd get elsewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, just ending the show on that note. I think it was just a great cap to like a great tone setter for the year. That's what I think this show was. Just a great opener to the rest of the year. And hopefully, this continues and this isn't just a one-off, but this episode is amazing, man. I really enjoyed it.
And it's been, I think as well, what it showed me as it was kind of going off air was just it's a nice churn of the main event scene. Obviously, Kenny's injured. Danielson is gonna be hanging up the boots, and all the other names. Obviously, Chris Jericho from yesteryear, Moxley that's been winning this title from yesteryear. They're all kind of finding other places on the card if they're available and if they're around. We're seeing Daniel Garcia, who's probably still not quite there yet. Just because of how his story and his character has been told. But he's someone that's obviously upper mid-card or he can trust to put in big positions and stuff like that. Swerve, who, like you said, there's almost like a confidence, even amongst the commentary team, that this year he's going to win this title. It's just a matter of what pay-per-view, at what point are we penning this into the calendar where it's going to happen, but it's going to happen, basically. Adam Cole, who is injured right now, but he's going to be in and around the minute he's fit, the second he's fit. MJF, who probably comes back into the fold once he is fit again.
You got Ospreay
due to turn up next month. He's due to attend school, as Laps would put it. He's due to enroll and register as of next month. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And these men are young as well. That's the thing. These men are like under 35, like all of them. So it's like there's the amount of mileage. Jay White, like the amount of mileage you can get out of all of these guys is incredible, man. Like the sky's the limit, man. The sky's honestly the limit.
Yeah, to think of those names I reeled off just there. Adam Cole may be the oldest at maybe a 34 or 35, maybe, followed by maybe a Swerve. Ospreay's what, 30, 31?
Yeah.
yeah, this is, and everyone else is younger. Like, this is the ages we're talking about. So they've pretty much future proofed their main event scene as long as they continue doing good booking, which they tend to do with the men. Then yeah, that should be absolutely good for them going forward, and it says a lot of what the next year is gonna look like. Just to touch upon some of the comments and stuff that you guys put in the chat before we get out of here today. Big up Navy, says, I can't lie, this Dynamite was so hype. Yeah, it was a very, very good show. Jay Adu, big up, bro. Deanna's gonna be class in the women's division. It's getting good quality and deeper. I said pause. Once everyone comes back, it's going to be really interesting. Rio, Britt, Chris, Rosa, Storm, May, Diana, and Willow could be a good year for the women's division. Yeah. I mean, Jay hasn't even mentioned Jamie Hayter.
Yeah. There's a lot,
man. He hasn't even mentioned the imminent, as we've been told, Mercedes Moné.
Shida. You know what I'm saying?
Shida, yeah. There's definitely a lot, man. Should be good. Glody says, big up Glody, he says, there is no excuse for the women's division to be bad this year.
There's none, man. There's none. There's a like all the division's already stacked, and we got people pending. We got people injured, and a lot of these people are fit to return this year. Listen, can't lie, man. It's make or break, man. It's make or break.
It's true. It is true. Jayadu says, would love to see the Triple Crown presented like Cody's TNT Open Challenge sometimes as well. Like an open challenge situation. I don't mind that.
I just think they've gone to that well too much. The open AEW have gone to that open challenge well far, especially it was I think it was early last year. It was either Darby's reign or Samoa Joe's reign was open challenge. It's
well, in name, all of Orange Cassidy's, or the majority of Orange Cassidy's international ones, were open challenges.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say, and I don't know if this is like a WWE thing or AEW thing, whatever the case may be, I actually tend to lean more so to the WWE way of open challenge of, right, it's this person facing vacant today, and the person comes out, maybe random, or who's coming out random. Orange Cassidy's was always open challenge, but we knew who the challenger was before the match. So maybe they do like Eddie Kingston's more like that. Like Eddie comes out, cuts a promo, giving people opportunity, come out here, blah blah blah. Then they send somebody out, and if you then send out, I think for me personally, if you then send out a Trent Beretta, I don't mind it as much, as long as somewhere along these open challenges we then get, like you said, a name.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my God, okay, cool. But yeah, I think just with that Continental or whatever it's called, the Continental Crown stuff, I think it was just the face of the, obviously you make a match card, the 4 men on the match card are not really, as they would say, giving. So yeah, I was just like, well, we'll see. But yeah. Glody also says Swerve for world champ, Takeshita for international champ.
Okay, if somebody you have to pick one, Roderick Strong or Takeshita as international champion, what are you going for?
Takeshita. I would say Takeshita only because when Roderick Strong wins it, which I definitely want to see as well, I need the undisputed, what do they used to call it, NXT? Prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy. Everyone needs to.
I need them all to have it. So I was thinking about this morning. I don't want Roderick Strong to win it if Adam Cole's not around to have the world title. I'd rather wait and hold off for a bit. So yeah, I'll take Takeshita to international champ now, and I think it would be good for him. I wanted Takeshita to beat Orange Cassidy the first time when he was on the run. I remember we talked about it.
Yeah,
the initial international championship run.
Yeah,
all tick back then, but Jay Adu says would be interesting to see what Darby does once Sting retires. What do you think could be on the cards for Darby? I mean, I know he's prepping to do the Mount Everest, innit?
I think run back the MJF feud and have him. I think he needs to beat MJF because the whole feud about him with MJF is like he's lost twice to MJF. I think he needs to get like his win back. And I think I don't think Darby hasn't had that many world championship matches.
No.
I can't.
He had the 4-way obviously with MJF.
Mm-hmm. I think he had one against Moxley, maybe.
Yes, I was just about to say that. So yeah, he must have had one against Moxley. Yeah, when he faced CM Punk, that was CM Punk's first match in it, so there was no title.
There was no title. So
yeah, that probably sounds about right.
Darby main eventing a pay-per-view, main eventing like a pay-per-view 1-on-1 against somebody as like a challenger.
I mean, he's got the history with Samoa Joe around the TNT title though, so they could do that. He definitely has history with Swerve. If Swerve was to become champion, him and Swerve tear the house down for a world title. So yeah, that could be in his future. You know, if you know, well, Samoa Joe's already champion, so if Swerve becomes champion this year, that can definitely be in his future. We'll see. Like I say, when Sting goes, I'm assuming maybe Darby's off TV for a bit as well, and then we'll see him resurface and stuff. Cool. Well, that was basically the show. We'll put a bow in it. For anyone that didn't know, we've done a World's End watch along. If there's anything there you want to see our reactions to anything, the devil coming out and all of that kind of thing, you can go and see that. That's on the channel. Like I said, this is now going to be on the audio platforms as well. So if you want to listen to it, you can catch it on your Apple Musics, your Spotify's, etc., etc. And yeah, we'll be back next week with another episode of Revolution Radio. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on your way out. NK, any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah, man, just tune into the lovely content we've got on Wrestlings. We've got a bunch of different content coming out on a weekly basis, not just Revolution Radio. There's the E podcast, there's the E, there's the flagship wrestling show, then there's tons of other lovely content out there. So yeah, keep it locked in. Yeah, guys, I was told today that an episode of Indie Takers is being recorded imminently, probably to review Wrestle Kingdom. So yeah, if you're into your indie stuff or want to keep up with the indies and what's happening there as well, Indie Takers is coming back. So yeah, make noise so that we keep up with it. Yeah, but stick us under pressure. But yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. Those are watching live, those are gonna watch it later, and we'll see you later.